You're welcome. I'm Charles Aite. As expected, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana has increased the policy rate, which is the rate at which it lends to commercial banks, by 2.5%, which is to 17%. Now, this decision is due to the current pressures on the economy, the uncertainty about the economic outlook and development in Russia and Ukraine, which has pushed fuel prices astronomically high. Now, this is expected to control the rise in inflation and check the rapid depreciation of the cedi. But the cost of loans is expected to go up. Here is the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, who is worried about the uncertainty of the economic outlook.
We've made foreign exchange available to the market broadly, and we think all of that should help in terms of mitigating the pace of depreciation of the cedi. Now, these are all short-term measures, immediate measures that we are taking to address the matter. But we also this morning have announced an increase in our policy rate. That action in itself should make our domestic assets more attractive and improve the incentives for investing in cedi-denominated assets. So the significant policy rate adjustment that you saw is also aimed at strengthening the cedi. Some of the medium to longer term actions, you mentioned the domestic gold purchasing program. These are things that would impact the level of gross reserves in the medium term. We've made quite some progress in terms, I think we bought over 600 kilograms of Doré gold, but this gold has to be refined to very high standards before they will qualify as a reserve asset. And we are in the process of fulfilling all the due diligence requirements that the refineries, the LBMA certified refineries in the world look out for. We are hoping, we are quite sure that in the next month or two, we would be able to export the Doré gold that we have. And once that is refined, it will become part of our gross reserves. Issues that we also discussed at this weekend retreat in the medium term is also to look at some of the retention agreements that we have with the oil marketing, with the oil drilling companies, etc. These are really medium to longer term issues which should help improve the foreign exchange earning capacity.
That's the Governor Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, there. Joining us live from the Bank of Ghana is Assistant Editor with Joy Business, George Riafi. George, we're grateful that you could join us. What more have you gathered from the Bank of Ghana, especially when the Governor has been addressing the media?
Which I was actually heard earlier on, the Governor of the Bank of Ghana gave further reasons why the rate has to be hiked, but there's a significant margin that we have not seen for further reasons why the rate has to be hiked, but there's a significant margin that we have not seen for quite a long time. Now, apart from this policy rate hike, the Governor also talked about other monetary measures that they are working with the commercial banks to try and check the cedi depreciation. Now, the Governor believes that there might be some excess currency in circulation. So what does policy rate hike could do, together with other policy measures, is supposed to help discourage or deal with the excess currency in circulation that people might be using that to bet on the dollar or bet on the cedi, thinking that things are going to depreciate. So therefore, let me hedge in dollar assets and all those things. By this action, that is going to go a long way to improve the earnings on cedi assets so that we see more people gravitating towards that. And the Governor believes that there are also other fiscal measures that should come on board to complement this, and that should help stabilize the Ghana cedi. In terms of critical timelines where we should be seeing the results, we didn't get a clear picture, but if you could listen to the earlier assessment by the Governor, maybe possibly in the next quarter or the next maybe 2 quarters, these actions should start yielding results on the market in terms of going along with to stabilize the Ghana cedi, as well as maybe checking inflation on the market as well. There were also concerns about what is talk or what did they make of the revenue measures by government. And the Governor again explains that, well, he believes that some measures are being taken, including the e-levy and that should also go a long way to deal with the fiscal concerns that is feeding into the Ghana city's issues, and as well as inflation as well. So with respect to all these things, Charles, the governor of the Bank of Ghana was quite optimistic that what they are doing now should help stabilize things in the short term or in the medium term with respect to inflation and the Ghana city as well. And Charles, another interesting thing that came up during the governor's presentation was that indeed development in Ukraine is impacting on the economy in terms of imports and export as well, as we also export some commodities to that country and we also import as well. And therefore, what is happening there would have come with some shocks on the economy. The impact is actually yet to be felt on the economy, Charles. So if you've even seen these immediate shocks, that is yet, or that cannot be attributed to what is happening in Russia and Ukraine. So, Charles, those are some of the issues that came up during the press briefing by the governor of the Bank of Ghana. But in all, the committee was quite optimistic that it's just a matter of time that these measures would hit the market and will start bringing the desired results that all of us are looking for in terms of stabilizing the Ghana city and dealing with the inflation rate concerns as well.
Great. But speaking about stabilizing the city, George, you posed a question to the governor regarding reforms surrounding the dollarization of the economy. What exactly was his response to that question?
Well, Charles, we couldn't get a clear response from the governor of the Bank of Ghana. But again, other behind the scenes or off the record discussions, we get a fine picture that they want to do the immediate things first that could get us a result. As for enforcing those FX measures, they can do it anytime. But right now, what actions do you take to repose confidence in the economy, to make city assets more preferable for most investors and also compensate investors who are investing in our bonds as well, so that their returns are not eroded by the inflation rate concern? So the governor, the committee members believe that let's deal with these measures now. As to the other issues as well with respect to dollarization and enforcing FX measures, it is just a matter of time that they will go back to them and ensure that they are enforced to the latter, Charles.
Indeed, George Rafi, we're grateful for that update live from the BOG head office with matters regarding the MPC rate, of which has been increased to 17%. We're still on this matter because we're joined via Zoom by the Chief Finance Officer at the Valley View University, Dr. William Sapra. Doc, we're grateful that I could join us. First of all, you predicted this and we're seeing this play out as expected. The move, the governor says, to increase the policy rate is to mop up excess liquidity in circulation in order to control inflation or prices of goods and services. Now, the question is, how sustainable is this in the short to medium term?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to your viewers. I'm very happy that the prediction which I gave has come to pass. What this assured us is that the governor, the central bank, are still following their inflationary target policy, whereby all the time the monetary policy rate is set higher than the inflation rate. So based on that, which I made a prediction that we could see between 130 basis points and 470 basis point difference in the rate. So indeed, the 250 basis point, which is a 2.5% increase in the monetary policy rate, as I mentioned, is the same quotation that the governor used to be able to entice people to move from investing in foreign currencies.
Great.
And then rather invest in government securities. So by so doing, it will reduce the pressure on the dollar. So this is a short-term measure. And I also gave the implication that it's going to make cost of funds expensive in the country. As the governor also admitted that this is what is going to happen. So in the short term, we will see an increase in government instruments, especially the bonds, treasury bill. The rate will be going up. Cost of funds will be limited to investors or entrepreneurs to use in the country. But we hope that it should slow down the impact of the exchange rate devaluation of our currency. Because in fact, devaluation of a currency is more serious than to have inflation. virtually your currency becomes meaningless. You can't use it to buy anything. So this policy has been set right and it's in the right direction. I also
Indeed.
find it interesting to hear the governor talk about purchasing of gold. It gives an indication that the governor and his team, they are trying to move away from the dollar reserves that we have. You see, in the past, as a country, our reserves has always been in dollars. That is why we have been borrowing dollars all the time, the $3 billion coming every year. And we think that we have international reserves that will cover us for 8 months. But in reality, it turned out to be a problem for us. But if they are now going to purchase commodity, that element of devaluation will be eroded and it will not happen again.
Indeed.
So
But how will this, you have helped us appreciate the impact it's going to have on entrepreneurs especially, and even that of investors. But for the average Ghanaian, paint us a picture of the effect of this on the pockets of the average Ghanaian.
So
I'm afraid we're having issues there with the connection to Dr. Williams Pepera, but I think, of course, let's expand this conversation further to rake in the trading community, because they are going to be the ones who are going to be most impacted by this initiative. Dr. Pepera, I think we lost you there, but we shall be joined by Dr. Joseph Obeng of Guta. But in the meantime, how soon should we expect the policy rates coming down to alleviate the economic burden on consumers and businesses? From your perspective, Dr. Williams Pepera.
So from my perspective, it will start from somewhere in September.
All right.
When the governor is able to purchase, to rebalance our foreign exchange reserve, then it will eliminate the issue of exchange rate. So in September, I'm sure the governor will come out to tell us that he has purchased a number of ounces of gold, and that will strengthen our currency.
Indeed, and we'll see how that one goes. Dr. Williams Pepera, we're grateful that you could join us with your submission as always. Dr. Joseph Obeng is president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association. Before the announcement, he made a case that should the policy rate be increased, traders are bound to have a negative impact. He joins us now for more on his response. Doc, we're grateful that you could join us. Well, we have seen the BOG increase the monetary policy rate, citing the city's depreciation and inflationary rates as major reasons. How does the trading community respond to this?
Is that the banks are going to respond in their favor and against us. And definitely it's going to add up additional layer of cost of doing business, for which we have been crying all this time. But if they are doing this measure to curtail the foreign exchange rate increase, then of course it is in good stead. But if you look at how it's going to also affect us, because how do we put the exchange rate also at hold? Because it's still rising. But I thought that if they come up with this, then what it means is that the push factor of the inflation trend is the exchange rate at this stage. So then is it that they are confirming that this is not a temporary thing, and that is going to be a sustained thing for them to increase the base rate? So I find it difficult to understand, and it made me even more confused and scared, because I thought the base rate is being pushed by the inflation trends, which is also being caused by the exchange rate. That's the push factor. But I thought the exchange rate factor is temporary, especially when I think that government is going to do something about it to curtail the depreciation of the city. But if this thing comes, what I'm thinking is that it's being sustained. That means solution is not in sight, or what? Because at least we should have thought through the rise of the dollar, first know how to stabilize it, then we come again with the policy rate. But if it comes concurrently, where we are we are facing this trouble, then businesses are in serious dilemma.
What do you need done in the immediate to long term, Dr. Obin?
Yeah, and normally I thought maybe we could have found some pragmatic way of stabilizing the dollar. Then having talked through the dollar, having been able to solve it by way of injecting more funds into the system, that will necessarily put a stop to the hoarding. And then people who are hoarding the money will bring it. And then the inflationary trends will come down. But this method, I do not know whether it will be able to curtail, because especially when the depreciation is very steep, it's going high, and then the dollar is rising up and up. It means that the attraction will be tilted towards people trading in the currency, and then the policy rate may not be a good bait for people, for them to whip up excess liquidity into the system. Because now the dollar seems to be more attractive than whatever bait the interest rate is going to bring to bear. So I thought we should have think through stabilizing the currency first before coming with this arrangement also.
Indeed.
But then the technocrats know best. And so I've been confused as a trade leader. That's all that I can say, because it's also going to add up additional layer, because the banks are going to respond quickly. When the policy rate goes up, the response does not. But when it goes down, they do not respond very quickly. But when it goes up, you see that the response is very sharp, and it's going to affect businesses in a way.
Well, and even as we've heard from the governor of the Bank of Ghana, he is citing the need to limit the circulation of the currency in order to sustain its credibility on the world stage. But we'll see how this one plays, especially when you're doubting the models in which the Bank of Ghana deployed to come at this particular decision of increasing to 17.17%. Dr. Obin, President of GUTA, we're grateful that you could join us. Let's take a short break. When we return, we'll take you back to the Bank of Ghana, where George engages the Director of Research at the Bank of Ghana, Philip Abredu Otu. Do stay for more. Yeah, welcome back to the program. Unfortunately, we will not be able to bring you that interview between George Riafi and Director of Research, but we shall bring you that particular excerpt at 5 p.m. when Darryl Kwao comes your way with Business Live. But in the meantime, Ghana will witness the manufacturing of its own electronic cars from start to finish, beginning next year, 2023. Now, this is a boost to the quest by the country to move towards the use of environmentally friendly vehicles. The manufacturer of the vehicle, Mana Mobility, has already engaged a Design and Tech Institute to partner in the process. Chief Executive of Mana Mobility Germany, Peter Schasaibua, told Joy Business that all regulatory bodies are being engaged to ensure a smooth takeoff. He spoke after a stakeholder meeting to introduce the design and concept of the vehicle to some selected agencies in Accra.
That it will be something which is developed, produced here in Ghana, so from Ghanaian people for Ghana. This is a big difference to how normally an OEM would operate here in this country. So we want to do it here, and the entire week we were here now spending on how to make the right concept for this market. So we had experts coming in from all different areas. We had the Design and Technology Institute from Accra here helping us to find the right way of doing it. And the outcome was the car we just presented here. And now the next steps are for the next 5-6 months, we are building some prototypes so that we can see also in real life and not only on PowerPoint. And as soon as we have the prototypes ready, comes a phase where you need to get the registration right, you need to legalize the car here in this market. So I would say somehow in spring, summer 2023, we are probably ready to get started with the production. That's the current plan.
Director General of the Ghana Standards Authority, Professor Alex Dodo, after the engagement, described the entry of manual mobility into the country as timely and expressed confidence that it will create more jobs for artisans.
We have capacity to check the quality of the vehicles, but importantly, we have capacity to actually develop the component manufacturing. Now that is where we need to have a national conversation, because that's where the money is. The guys are doing it, but we are not doing it according to standards, nor reproducibly, nor at scale. And I think it's about time we really wake up and say that, look, this is a lot of money for the Republic of Ghana. And how do we help? Some of the decisions may include, and it's beyond my pay grade, but I'll say it, may include literally supporting the guys in Swami Magazine and other places to actually just standardize and produce precision issues. Because why? These people are very smart men, businessmen and women. But let's face it, their ability to buy the modern equipment to produce the same things at the same time might not be the same. The technical universities may help, but all of us from universities are too book long. We focus on the book. And at the end of the day, let's face it, in our republic, the biggest businessmen are not necessarily the professors. They tend to be informal, but they are driving the economy. Now, how do we have the marriage where their ideas are respected and formalized so that they can produce business that we, the book-long people, can then, as it were, take to the market and sell for them? So that it sounds very uncomfortable because it's a clash of cultures.
Now, the Equatorial Coca-Cola bottling company says it is poised to take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. According to its Corporate Affairs Director for West Africa, Bethel Yeboah, some standards have been set to ensure that the same product is produced across the continent. Mr. Yeboah engaged the media on the sidelines of the reintroduction of the Coca-Cola Zero Sugar initiative.
The Corporate Affairs Director for West Africa at the Equatorial Coca-Cola Bottling Company, Bethel Yeboah, says the firm is strategically positioning itself to take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area. According to him, this will position Coca-Cola as a brand of choice for consumers. He said this at the unveiling of the new Coca-Cola Zero Sugar campaign.
This is an opportunity, for us to take advantage of the sub-region and then the market that NAFTA brings. Okay, so issues of, for example, when you are exporting or when you are importing, you do not have to pay certain duties because we've standardized a number of things, and for that matter, the same product in Ghana is supposed to be the same in, say, Liberia or Guinea-Conakry, or for that matter, any country in Africa. What is interesting is that some of these things, do happen, and the challenge that you have, has to do with, for example, labor, having the right skills, because you are going to have players that are big that comes into the market, and so it's important that we have the right skill set, within our market.
Franchise Marketing Director for Coca-Cola West Islands and Middle Africa, Arno Ingwesan, said his outfit is committed to making products tailored to suit the demands of consumers, hence improving on the Coca-Cola Zero Sugar.
Consumers as well are looking at to associate with brand and products that meet the needs and preferences, are innovative in that regard. Recognizing that tastes and preferences are always evolving, we are focused on continuous improvement to give consumers the best tasting Coca-Cola they want, with zero sugar or 0 calories, offered in the most iconic packaging and powered by some of our most creative consumer-centering marketing yet.
The launch of the new Coca-Cola recipe was dubbed Zero Gravity.
For more news, do log on to myjoyonline.com, especially when you shall also get updates on the MPC rate, which has been increased to 17%. I'm Charles Aite. Many thanks for watching.